Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and we are off a big Red Sox victory. Last night we thought Chris Sale on the mound, it would be a great, easy win, and didn't start out that way, didn't end that way. What a crazy game.
It really was a crazy game, and Chris Sale, definitely not his best stuff. And it's funny, the game before, Doug Fister, who has a 7.5 ERA coming into 2 days ago, he pitched, what, he was
in the seventh inning.
Seventh inning, and he didn't allow, or no, he gave up a 2-run home run at the end, but he looked great.
They were up 6-0
But then against the same lineup, Chris Sale goes 5 innings and gives up 7 earned runs, the most all season. We haven't seen him this bad since he's come over here. And by the 5th inning, or by the 2nd inning, it was 5-0. But I think the best thing is the Red Sox offense finally came around and picked Chris Sale up. Really, Sale was picking up the offense, but the offense picked him up last night. They dug out of that 5-0 hole. And then when they got down 7-5, they came back and took a 9-7 lead. And then when they were down 10-9, they came back. Christian Vasquez with the big 3-run homer won that game. Such an exciting game. They really needed that win. And now they're back on top by half a game.
And we were talking about it, they're back in first place, but we were talking about their pitching staffs, both the Indians and the Red Sox. Great pitching staffs. Good hitting, not great, but the pitching staffs were what we thought would shine. That didn't happen at all.
No, not at all. The starters, the bullpen, really the best 2 staffs in the American League, and they were just looked the opposite last night. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I mean, Christian Vasquez, the fact that he hit his 4th career home run last night off of Cody Allen.
Cody Allen,
the Indians closer. I mean, unbelievable game. Just offense coming everywhere. And that catch by, what was his name on the Indians?
Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson robbing Hanley
into the bullpen.
I mean, really, the catch by Jackie Bradley Jr. when he robbed Aaron Judge made that catch look like nothing, I mean, it was an unbelievable game, just offensively, defensively. It was a thrill.
Yeah, it really was. Now, Red Sox walking off with a win last night, obviously. Walk-off win against Kansas City on Saturday night. A couple of losses, or a loss in there as well. But does this type of win maybe propel this team? I mean, like you said, their offense is now finally maybe coming to life, scoring 9 runs on Saturday in that walk-off win, and then having a big outburst last night. Maybe this can be a spark to get this team going with what they need.
Absolutely, and if it was against the 5th starter on the innings, that'd be one thing, but it was really against one of their best pitchers. So I think this will definitely spark the offense. I mean, at least it won't be as bad as it's been the last kind of 6 weeks. I mean, it's been 1 or 2 runs a game maybe. But hopefully now, with some of the additions they've made, their offense is really looking good and more well-rounded. Not a ton of power. We saw some last night with Moreland and Vasquez, but really, I think this will definitely spark the offense, and it's definitely looking better.
Yeah, and not a ton of power, because the night before when they won that Doug Fister game, that was, I think, what is it, their 12th or 13th game this year where they've scored 5+ runs without hitting a home run. And that leads the American League. So you kind of look at it as good and bad. It's good that they're winning without having to, they're able to manufacture runs, but you can't be dead last in home runs and runs scored and expect to do some damage. So they got to get it picked up. And Eduardo Nunez and Rafael Devers, 2 acquisitions by different ways, have certainly helped.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of people thought Eduardo Nunez wasn't a big enough addition. You thought you needed the power, like you were just saying, but I mean, he's really been driving in a ton of runs lately. He had a 2-homer game the other day at Fenway, and he's looked great, and he had a big bases-clearing triple last night. So, I mean, he's really looked like a superb addition, and they didn't have to give up a lot, which I think was the most important thing. They didn't have to sacrifice too much of the future. Dombrowski made a good trade. So I think it was a great move, and also you get Nunez to coach Devers a little bit, too, as the veteran.
And unfortunately, with Pedroia going on the DL, that's a bad thing, obviously, but then you don't have to decide between Nunez or Devers. You can play both of them, so that's good. Their offense, maybe picking it up. Hopefully a guy who can pick it up is Rick Porcello. He pitches tonight. And he lowered his ERA from about 5.05 to 4.5 or something. He's lowered it about half a run through the month of July. Can he keep that up in August and maybe pitch some good games down the stretch? Yeah, he's really looked like he's turning his season around. His biggest weakness was giving up a ton of home runs, and he's still doing that. But he's kind of limited them to just solo home runs. If you give up 2 home runs in a start, but they're both solos, it's not a big deal. So and he's really done a nice job of, I think his ERA is around 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 right now.
Yeah, I think before it was around like 6 or something. So he's really looked similar, starting to get closer to the Cy Young caliber pitching he did last year. Yeah.
And the other good thing about him is he always pitches into the 7th inning. He will get innings no matter how bad he's pitching. He'll stabilize and keep it going, so save some of the bullpen. So that's tonight. Rick Porcello looking to sweep the Cleveland Indians. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the trade deadline. Obviously, that was Monday night. Red Sox picking up a reliever and a couple other moves in the American League East. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.